Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for gathering today to our information session for the Graduate School of Law, Waseda University LL.M program. My name is Takashi Nasu. I'm the administrative staff working at the Graduate School of Law office where we handle this program. We are expecting a few more participants for today's information session, but we would like to start since, the time has already passed. So yes, once again, thank you very much for coming. And here's the topics that we will be explaining today to everyone. We would like to start our information session. For the first part, we would like to explain and have few words from our program coordinator, Professor Kawano Mariko. So Professor Kawano, can you start your part?
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the information session of the LL.M program of the Graduate School, Waseda University. My name is Mariko Kawano, as Mr. Nasu introduced, and I am a program coordinator of this LL.M in Asian Economic Integration and Law. On behalf of the Graduate School of Law, I'd like to express our most sincere gratitude for your kind interest in our program. Today, we will provide you with the information about our program, admission policy, and life at Waseda, etc. Therefore, please do not hesitate raising questions about us. Our LL.M in Asian Economic Integration and Law is a rather new program. We launched this program in 2018. And fortunately, as I will show you later, we are very much pleased that we have admitted many students from all over the world, and that the students establish every year a very friendly and stimulating community at Waseda. Although this is just a one-year program, but still it is worthwhile having some participation in this good community. So, Mr. Nasu, next slide, please. So this is the entrance hall of the building of the law faculty. So if you can have next year, I hope we will arrange the classes in person, but if you come to Waseda in person, you will see this hall at first. And next, please. So this is the chart of our system of education. At Waseda, we have the undergraduate program. So this is undergraduate School of Law. And then at the graduate level, we have three kinds of educational system. The first one is LL.M of 1-year course. And this is a course for business persons, officials, or advanced professionals. And in fact, we admit many lawyers and practicing lawyers, judges, or prosecutors. In addition to this LL.M, we have law school and masters in law as well. In law school, this is a sort of the education for the practicing lawyers, including judges and prosecutors. So when the students complete the program in the law school, then they will become lawyers. And in the case of the masters in law, this is a course, or this is a program to educate the students that wish to become academics. So this is very academic program. So we are constituted by these three programs in graduate level. Okay, next slide, please. So what is the LLM at the graduate level? Next slide, please. Firstly, when we launched this new program, we thought about global and Asian regional perspective would be very important in the current international community, because nowadays many Asian countries have attained lots of development, and it is a sort of a big community of states. But at the same time, when you go to Europe or America, the studies or the research are rather focused on the perspective of Westerners. Therefore, we'd like to organize an educational program for the global and the Asian regional perspectives. But at the same time, this is a graduate education. Therefore, we want to emphasize the importance of the theoretical aspects. But at the same time, as far as as I have already said, we admit many practicing lawyers, judges, and prosecutors. Therefore, we emphasize the practical analysis also. And at the same time, as far as this is a sort of graduate education, systematic and intensive studies, we consider these elements are very important. In particular, in our program, this is just 1 year program. Therefore, we want to educate the students in a systematic way, but at the same time, intensive way. Next slide, please. And then this is a sort of our idea with regard to the basic idea of the global and regional perspective. As I have already said, in the current international community, the status of Asia has become even more important. Therefore, of course, China is a major state in the current international community, Japan, and Republic of Korea. These are the main key actors in the East Asia. But at the same time, the area of ASEAN, Southeast Asia, they are developing a lot, and they have already attained the development. Therefore, the relationship among these 4 categories have become very important. But at the same time, for example, in the case of TPP, the United Kingdom is now considering to become the state party to the TPP, and NAFTA's status has become important. So in that sense, although Japan is located in the east of Asia, but at the same time, we have to think about other parts of Asia and other parts of the international community as well. And in that sense, it is very important to consider the legal system to support the supply chains in East Asia. So next slide, please. And then theoretical and practical analysis. So at least we are now establishing various kinds of treaty systems. And in East Asia, China, ROK, Japan has established an investment agreement system. And with many ASEAN countries, we have concluded CPTPP or other investment treaties or economic partnership agreements as well. And also Japan and EU has established the EPA system, and Australia as well. And Japan has a special relationship with the United States of America. And also Japan have concluded various EPAs and investment treaties with Latin American countries as well. And in these complicated treaty systems, it is very important to think about the functions of the public sector lawmaking on the one hand, but at the same time, it is very important to consider the importance and the role to be played by the private sector. And in that sense, even the private sector are expected to participate in the lawmaking system in this complicated system. So next slide, please. So then why study with us? Firstly, we have established the program taught purely in English. It is not so many, there are not so many graduate schools where you can study only in English. And also our uniqueness is the focus on the Asian regional law. Because we are, as I have already said, when we launched our LL.M, at least we wanted to have and propose the Asian regional perspective to the students. Therefore, at least we have tried to establish a sort of program to educate the students with regard to Japan's legal system, but at the same time, comparative legal studies. Therefore, in the required courses, we require the students to take comparative regionalism, global market regulation, and legal research and writing. The third one, the legal research and writing is very important because as far as you become a student of our LL.M program, you are required to write a research paper. And basically, each student can choose their own subject. And then we provide the supervisor who is the most appropriate for the subject. And for this purpose, legal research and writing is one of the core subjects in our program. And then in addition to the required courses, you can choose Japanese law courses, including private or public law courses. Therefore, Japan's civil code, criminal code, constitution as well. And also, you can choose Asian regional law courses as well. We provide some comparative legal studies courses and Chinese law and so on. And also it is possible for the students to choose international courses as well. For example, in my case, I teach the international law of the sea and the dispute settlement of international dispute in relating to the law of the sea in Asia. So you have lots of choice in addition to the required courses. Okay, next slide, please. And these are the chart for the courses which are provided this year, 2020 LL.M course list. So you may see the required courses and elective courses as well. And it is possible to take some elective courses from other LL.M programs as well, and Global Education Center credit course as well. So you can choose the courses as you like, and you can organize your own study at Waseda. Okay, next slide, please. So at least as far as I have seen, there are lots of interesting students here at Waseda because, as I have already said, this LL.M program was launched in 2018, so only 4 years. But still, I have found so many interesting students, and the students stimulate each other and communicate each other. Therefore, the students could establish a very good community. Next slide, please. Sorry, next slide, please. Yeah. Okay, and then you can see the last 3 years, you may see so many students from all over the world. So from Asia, from Europe, from Latin America, or from other states as well. So you see there are lots of students from all over the world. And these students have established a very good community. But at the same time, you may wonder, is it possible, you may wonder whether it is possible to establish a community under the COVID-19 situation. Unfortunately, in 2019, in the academic years of 2019 and 2020, in the academic years of 2020 and 2021, it was very difficult for the students to come to Japan and to take courses in person. And unfortunately, in a sense, all the classes are online, and the students are stayed in 2020. The students stayed in their country. Most of the students stayed in their country. And this academic year, 2021, at least in the spring term, almost all the students are staying at home. But at the same time, it has been very interesting from my viewpoint. I have to confess that at the beginning of the academic year of 2020, I thought that it would be a very difficult experience for us to teach the students online. But in the reality, when we start the classes online, I found that it was very interesting because, for example, in the course of the legal research and writing, of course, you need a sort of supervisor, but at least as far as we use the Zoom system or webinar system, it is very easy to communicate with a supervisor. And interesting point is, with this online system, it is easy to communicate without frontier. For example, this year, in the spring term of 2020, during the spring term, I taught the International Law of the Sea. And it's very interesting because my course is provided in the evening or in Japan. And from Europe, they took the course in the morning, and in American continent, they take the classes at night. So at least, and in Asia, of course, there is not so much time difference. So in a sense, online system, it is very interesting to organize a sort of stimulating communication online. Of course, I admit that the basic and the best style of graduate education is the education in person. So I hope next year, 2021, we can start the classes in person as well. But at the same time, I have to say that the online education is not bad. And we can still try to communicate each other, stimulate each other, and establish a very good community as well. So, Nassan, probably this is the end of our my explanation of the basic approach of the system. To sum up my talk, I have to say that why study with us, even online? we provide the unique courses on Asian regional law, and we have tried to organize the classes taught by the top legal specialists, stimulating teaching, and the students have been very good and internationally diverse students, and they have communicated and stimulated each other, and they have established a very, I have to confess, they have established a very good community every year. And we have tried to maintain the strong contact with Asian, American, European universities. For example, we have a close contact with the Louvain-la-Neuve University. We admit some students from Louvain-la-Neuve, and also the professors of the same university teaches some of the courses as well. And therefore, after 1 year education at Waseda, you can have the networks of legal professions, business leaders, and government officials. So these are the advantages of the LL.M at Waseda. So Natsan, probably I have to stop here. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Kano Sensei. One thing, we prepared one video, which we wanted to show everyone, but unfortunately, somehow it didn't work out well. I apologize about that. But the same video is also available at our website. So if there's anyone who's interested in watching it, please access our website instead. I'm so sorry about that. For my part, after Professor Kawano's explanation, I would like to add a little bit more information about our program from the administrative perspectives. First part, about the curriculum. So as you can see, these are the degree requirements that we ask our students in order to acquire their master's degree. So some part was already explained from Professor Kawano's part, but we ask students to earn 30 credits in total. In adding to that, pass their master's thesis defense. So as it is written in the chart, required courses, we ask 6 credits for the required courses, and we ask 24 credits from the elective courses. So each class, one class adds up to 2 credits. So you need to pass 15 classes and earn 30 credits. And also you have to write your master's thesis, which we call it a research paper. Right, so the next part about the tuition and fees. So students are required to pay their tuition per semester, and the amount will be as it is shown in this chart. The amount is written in Japanese yen, but if you are currently enrolled in specific program of Waseda University or are a graduate, if you are a graduate of Waseda University, several membership fees are to be waived. So if you are not sure, please feel free to contact us through email and we can confirm your status. Okay, the next part about the admission. So at this moment, we have already uploaded our application guidelines for April 2022 entry. So for your admission for the next year, we already have our application guidelines on our website. So for further information, for specific information, we would like to ask everyone to read through the guidelines first and understand all the contents written in the guidelines, but I would like to pick up a few important points to share today. So for the first part about the eligibility. Since our program is a master's course, we require applicants to acquire a bachelor's degree or higher at the point of admission. And also, it is not mandatory, but we highly recommend law degree or equivalent law background. Second part about the screening method and documents. Our main screening method will be document screenings. So what you submit to us will be very important, such as academic transcript, letter of recommendation, and so on. Also, we might ask some applicants to hold an interview upon screening. If we find it necessary, we will contact the applicants individually. And lastly, about the schedule for application. We only have spring admission, so you can only enter our program in April every year. So if you seek to join our program in next year, 2022, you will have to apply in the beginning of September. The application period is indicated in the guideline. Again, these informations are all indicated in the application guidelines, which is already distributed on our website. So if you can, please read through the application guideline. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can always feel free to send us an email about your question. Okay, the next part. Before we wrap up our information session and move on to the Q&A session, if any of you have any questions, let me share some frequently asked questions that we get every year. Okay, the first question. This is a frequently asked question, but is there any is a law undergraduate degree necessary? This was already explained, but it's highly recommended, but at least solid basic knowledge of law is necessary, if not a formal law degree to complete this LL.M program. Okay, the next question, I'm sorry. Is there any minimum score for TOEIC, TOEFL, or IELTS? So we ask every applicant to submit their English scorecard. It is not, there's no specific score set for, it's this 2021, but I'm sorry, this is 2022. But considerably high scores of those exams are strongly recommended, since we basically only have document screening. So yeah, eventually higher score is better for your screening. Okay, the next question, is there any scholarship available? Yes, we do have some scholarship program as well, but it's highly competitive. About 45% of international students receive some kind of scholarship in 2021 this year. For the scholarship, we will consider your transcripts and other application materials you submit, and we will do individual screening for the scholarship. So again, what you submit to us will be very important for the scholarship screening as well. Okay, thank you very much for listening. This is mostly what we prepared for today, but if you have any questions, as I mentioned, you can always feel free to send us an email. I think that will be more equivalent. I mean, you can freely send all the questions you have, and we can send you back the email with an answer. But if you have any questions at this moment which you want to share with all our participants today, I think you have a button called raise your hand. I'm sorry, my screen is shown in Japanese, but I don't know. But if there's any questions, you can raise your hand right now. Okay, we have a question from Morisaki-san. Okay, Okay, Morisaki-san, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, you're free to speak up your question.
Thank you. So I'm currently enrolled in Waseda Law degree, which is undergraduate degree.
Mhm.
And I was wondering whether I will be taking LL.M. But so for the future perspective, if I get this degree or if I study here, how can I build the career after graduate? Or is there any? And also, I was wondering that is this course is for like people who's lawyer or who's highly professional in law already, or is this course is for someone who's seeking to develop the knowledge of law as well? So my question is sorry about the career and also like who is this program is aiming for and what kind of skills I can develop. Yeah.
Okay, Morisaki-san, thank you very much for your question. Kano-sensei, do you think you can give some advice to Morisaki-san's question? Yes.
Yeah. As I have already said, there are students who are already practicing lawyers, judges, or prosecutors in our program. And in that sense, it is not possible for you to get the bar exam qualification after the completion of our program. But at the same time, this is a unique program taught in English in Japan. Therefore, probably for even Japanese students, this might be a very good opportunity to establish the network with the lawyers or practicing lawyers, judges, and prosecutors abroad. And also, this is highly specialized program. Therefore, you can use the perspective you can get from this program to the future career. But at the same time, it is up to your choice for the future organization of your career. I have to say this.
Kano-sensei, thank you very much. Morisaki-san, is the answer okay? Did we answer your question?
Do you have further questions?
Thank you for answering the question. Yeah, I was just wondering like how can I build my career after that, but maybe it's my choice. So I don't know. Yeah, I will try to search more. And yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we have another hand up from Ju Yunlong-san. Please hold on for a sec. Ju-san, I'm sorry. I think we have a problem with maybe the system that we have. We can't actually let you speak up. Do you think you can write it in your chat? Hold on. Ju-san, I'm sorry. If you have a question, can you please try typing it into the chat instead? Do you think you can try that?
Yeah, please do not hesitate, Zu-san. Please write your question in chat.
Okay, I think Ju-san is still typing, but is there any other questions?
Please do not hesitate raising questions.
Okay, we got one question from Saskia Siebert-san. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Please forgive me, but Saskia Siebert-san?
Yes, no worries. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please
Thank you.
feel free to speak up. Can we hear your question? What do you?
Yes, I was asking about the corona situation. Obviously, the Waseda University can't foresee the future as well. But is there any action on the side of the university to maybe appeal to the government to reopen or reissue visas for study purposes in the future? Thank you.
Sam, may I answer to this
Yes.
question?
Yes, please.
In fact, at the last year, almost all the classes were provided online. But at the beginning of this year, I mean 2021, the president of this university declared that 70% of the classes would be held in person. Therefore, at least as far as the smaller classes are concerned, they are given in person. And for this purpose, the Waseda University changed all the ventilation system in the classrooms, and we are now trying to organize the university vaccination system and also the PCR test as well. So at least as a university, we have done everything we could have done. But at the same time, it is rather difficult because probably many of you have already known, but the people, the COVID-19 situation in Japan is not so good at the moment. So I can't say anything about the next year, but still the university as such have worked a lot to improve the situation. And also in the case of the foreign students, it is up to the immigration policy of the Japanese government as well. But we have tried to admit as many foreign students as well. Therefore, I can say like this. Is this a sufficient answer to your question, Ms. Siebelt?
Yes, thank you very much.
Welcome. And do you have any further question? Is it all right like this? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. And we got a question from Ju Yulong-sang through the chat system. Is this program will still be done online next year? Yes,
yeah.
Professor Kawano has already answered to this question. Yes, we're trying our best to conduct these programs even for those students who cannot actually come to Japan, enter Japan. So yeah, we're not actually, we can't be sure of what it's going to be like next year, but we will try our best to conduct all the courses for those who can actually come to Japan as well.
And now, Sam, we have another question that should be answered from the administration office. The bachelor degree in law I have got was taught totally in English. May I ask if I still have to submit test result of TOEFL or like? Probably this is the question to the administration office.
Right. So yes, we got a question from Jan Ho-sang. Right. Thank you very much. But unfortunately for this part, this question is actually, it has to do with the administrative perspective, and yeah, so it's we have to check a little bit about the application. So I'm sorry, at this moment we can't answer the question related to the application through this information session. So Jan Ho-san, if you can send us an email asking the same question, we will check the content and we will answer your questions individually. Is that okay? Right, thank you very much for your understanding. I'm sorry. Thank you. We have a few more questions. Sorry. So Conan-san, Conan TH Chi-san. Kona-san, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I actually have, well, two questions in this case.
Mhm.
One is about the application, and like you just mentioned, I am not certain if you can answer it, but uh, I read about the on the application guideline that if I don't have a law degree, I have to submit some sort of statement to demonstrate my legal knowledge. Is there any format or page number that's, any limitations in that aspect, or should I send a separate email instead?
Right. So about the statement of legal backgrounds. The reason why we're asking you to submit this is because we would like to check whether you have applicable knowledge of legal background. So, but we do not have any specific formats that we ask you to use. So you can just type or any way. If we can screen, if you can do the screening by checking the documents that you have submitted, any format is fine.
May I add something?
Yes, thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Conan, for your question. This is rather important for non-law degree holders. And the reason why we require the students to submit some sort of information about the knowledge about law is, as I have already shown, the classes or the courses provided in our program, you can see that it is highly specialized courses. Therefore, in order to participate and to study efficiently from these courses, it is very important for the participants to know the basic knowledge of legal studies. For example, in the case of the Japanese students, for example, they are expected to know the basic system of the Japan's legal system, civil code or criminal code or constitution like that. And on the basis of these basic knowledges, for the first time, it is possible to compare or to pursue the comparative legal studies. At the same time, as I have already said, the students are required to write a research paper. And this is a paper which is required to be legal studies. Therefore, to write the research paper and to participate in the specialized courses just in 1 year, it is better for you to have the basic knowledge of legal subjects. This is the basic requirement for the legal knowledge. So as far as you can establish your legal knowledge, your basic knowledge about legal studies, then as much as you are allowed to submit as much as you possible. Okay, is this an answer, sufficient answer to your question, Mr. Conan?
Yes, largely. Just as a quick follow-up to that,
Yeah.
I'm currently a non-degree student in an American law school. So can I submit my transcript and in that case, maybe my certificate that I will achieve when I finish my program later on during the application process? Or is it, oh, that's okay. Okay.
Yeah. And if you have written something for the legal research, then you can submit them as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand. Can I just have one more question? One last question.
Yeah.
Has there been is there any publication opportunities outside the mandatory thesis in this program?
So far I have never seen the publication based upon the research paper, but as far as the student writes a very good paper or qualified paper, in fact, we have a journal in English published in English as well. So it is not impossible to publish your article, your research paper as an article, but it really depends upon the quality.
Oh, I see. I understand. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we have another raised hand from Wan Zichen-sang.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. My question is basically about the competitivity about this program. Can you divulge the number of the total applicants in the past years? What will be the competitive situation be like?
Okay, so unfortunately, we do not actually provide any numbers related to the total number of applicants or how the screening results come out. So I'm so sorry, but what we can provide is all provided on our website. So if you can't find the information on our website, then that means we can't distribute the information to the applicants.
I understood. Thank you.
But I have to confess that the application has been very competitive, and it has become even more competitive every year. So I can say only this.
Thank you.
Won-san, thank you for your question. Okay, I found Saskia-san has another question, maybe?
Yes, thank you very much. Just from personal interest, have there been any participants in the program that have then continued on to do a PhD program at Waseda University right after finishing the LL.M?
Kano-sensei, can I answer? Yeah.
As far as I know, there have never been a student who wished to continue the study in the PhD program, but it is not impossible. So it really depends upon the quality of the research paper, I guess. Do you wish to continue your research in Japan after the completion of the LL.M?
I'm generally applying for both LL.M positions and also PhD programs. But at the moment, I was mostly focusing on Germany. So I was just asking out of interest if there's the possibility in Japan as well.
So it's not impossible, but I have never seen a student like this, because as I have already said, most of the students have been practicing lawyers or judges or prosecutors. So after 1 year study at Waseda, they go back to their country. Most of them go back to their country. So in that sense, they did not have the intent or specific intention to continue their research. But the possibility is not excluded, I guess.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Let me add one more information to that question. Since for our graduate school of law program, we only have Japanese program for the PhD course. Since this LL.M program is the only program that we provide in English. So if you seek to move on to PhD, then if you are seeking to move on to PhD program in English, then unfortunately, we only provide programs for PhD in Japanese. So please keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, you may have a look at the graduate school of Asia Pacific Studies as well. They have a program in English, and you are allowed to be taught only in English and write a PhD thesis in English as well. So it depends upon your interest, because it is the graduate school of Asia Pacific Studies is not a law program, and I'm not sure whether it may correspond to your interest. So it really depends upon your interest, I guess.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. Okay, so far I think we answered all the question, but if if there is anyone else who wants to ask something, please raise your hand. Okay, Conan-san.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask one quick question in the end.
Mhm.
Is the number of recipients of the tuition waiver disclosed, or is that not public information? As in, well, I guess to frame it easier, how many students would receive waivers in an academic year?
Okay. Does that mean, are you asking about the scholarship program? You mean about the tuition waiver?
Right, I'm asking about scholarship program and the tuition. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. So the number, it depends on, it differs by every year, and we're not actually, I'm sorry, we can't also answer to that question really specifically.
That's all right. I understand.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. So is there anyone else want to ask? Okay. Saskia-san.
I'm so sorry. I just remembered one
okay.
last question.
Please feel free to speak up.
Concerning the submission of documents, since there might be a delay in postal service due to COVID, would it be possible to already start sending some of the application documents, like the letter of recommendation, even before the online registration process?
Okay, yeah, we understand your consideration. If you can, if there's already documents that you can already submit, you can do that at this moment. But if you can include a memo explaining that you are submitting few documents a little bit earlier than your original document copies, then that will be really helpful for us to keep track of which documents we received from each applicant.
Of course, thank you very much. That really was my last question.
Thank you very much for your question. Okay, is there any other question? Okay, so Kano-sensei, can we have a few last words from the program coordinator?
Yeah, thank you for your interest in our program. And I'm really happy to see that there are so many participants in this session from all over the world. And in that sense, Nasan and I, we are very grateful for your interest. And I hope that we can see you in person next April. So I hope and I wish you all the best for your study. Thank you very much.
Kano-sensei, thank you very much. So this is the end of our session. Once again, thank you all for joining us today. And we hope you stay safe and healthy wherever you are around the world. And we are looking forward to your application and hopefully meeting you in 2022. Okay, thank you very much.